Welcome to Maroon Sports Talk, everybody. Your one-stop shop for anything EKU sports related. My name is Nick Speer. Who's going next?
We were just going down the line.
Yeah.
I'm Jenna Evans.
I'm Joey Aguire.
And I'm Caleb Wells.
Sorry for the little bit of a weird intro there. We're all very, very tired on this Friday, but the sun is shining. Hurricane Helene has passed. Little news as well, where we do have the podcast on YouTube. It is now available on Spotify as well, so that is great. So I guess we will start with the gridiron like we do every single week. Caleb, how are you feeling so far? We're on a bye week now. There's 55 days straight of college football and NFL football, but not for EKU. We are off this week. So give your take on how the season's going so far.
I don't mind the bye where we have it, honestly. I think it gave us enough time to build momentum, but at the same time, get the rest we need. Heading into what's going to be the tougher end of the season. I don't know, some teams worry about having the bye when they get too hot because then it kills their momentum. But I don't mind it. We've played against a lot of teams that aren't as good as EKU, so we've got the momentum, got the confidence, but haven't necessarily
been tested yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't mind the bye week just to have more time to prepare going into what's the gauntlet end of our season.
Yeah. I like how the offense was very, very sluggish and we just turned it around. And for each side of the ball, if you had to say one good thing so far that you liked the past 3 weeks and one thing you think we can improve on after these 3-game stretch here at the home and 3 straight wins.
For defense, the first thing that pops is just DB play. Our secondary play has been great. DB is led by Vito Tisdale and Mike Smith Jr. They've looked phenomenal. I like the physicality on that end of the ball. They're just racing to get to every ball. Every 50-50 ball, they're making sure it hits the ground. So that's been a good look for the Colonels. And then on offense, I think I've been really impressed with the offensive line. There wasn't a lot of talk about whether they'd be great, whether they'd be terrible, going into the season. But I like that they're giving Morrissey time to throw. They're letting him stay in the pocket, or if he scrambles out, just giving him time to make the throw on the run or on the bootleg. Yeah. So those would be the 2 things I like the most. What I'd like to see improve, I know when we're playing against better teams, the pass rush is going to get more intense. So I'd like to see the run game get a little more consistent.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a huge issue just because we've seen EKU establish the run pretty well in seasons past. I think they can do it again this year.
Yeah.
But I just want to see that get more consistent, see those rushing numbers take upward.
I think one thing they can improve on each side of the ball, I think on the offense, is we get ahead pretty well, and then we kind of slow down. We get a couple stalled drives here and there, and then the offense on the other side of the ball can kind of creep up on the opposing side.
Yep.
On the defensive side, blown coverages seem to be a little bit of a problem here and there, especially against those tougher opponents. I like to see that more improved. Moving to Jenna here, as kind of an athlete, you guys don't have a lot of time off, but when you do get some days off, what do you do, and then what do you think some of the other athletes should do to improve upon this 3-game winning streak here?
Having time off is something really hard to deal with because you want your body to rest, but at the same time, when you go back, you don't want to have to rework everything you've built up throughout the season and start from rock bottom again, because small amounts of time off, you can lose a lot of your strength and endurance, or at least that's what I've experienced. So during your time off, you still want your body to rest, but maybe doing small things that will help you when you come back to keep that strength and keep that endurance.
How do you kind of keep that mentality of keeping the foot on the gas while also having a day or 2 off?
I love watching film and videos just to keep me in the loop, and so I know when it is time to come back exactly what I need to work on and exactly what I need to do to be successful at the next practice or at the next game or whatever we have coming up during those 1 to 2 days off. But also I enjoy watching other teams. So I think this week is a great opportunity for EKU to start researching the teams that they are going against in the coming weeks. We have our big homecoming game coming up, so I know they'll want to have a good standout for that as well.
Yeah, and I'm just talking about what you mentioned, film. I think that'd be a great thing that we can do on this bye week is watching teams like Tarleton State, Abilene Christian, I think is how you pronounce
Yes,
it.
yeah.
ACU and Tarleton State, Central Arkansas, AC. Those three big teams that are in the FCS top 25. I think watching
Right.
film on them would be pretty huge. And one good thing that you kind of mentioned about establishing, I think also keeping the foot on the gas of like spreading the wealth that Matt does. It seems to be like every receiver, tight end can get 40 plus yards receiving every single
Right.
game and multiple looks. I think
that's
doing that. Yeah,
that's been a good facet of the offense that we want to continue like going into those games, because think about it, like when they're watching film and they don't just see, oh shoot, they've got, you know, number 17, he's getting 150 yards and 2 touchdowns a game, we just need to lock him up. When they're looking at the tape and they're like, well shoot, 17 can get yards, 83 can get yards, 18 can get, and they're just seeing like all these different players, you know, like getting the ball and making plays with it. That's going to make it a lot harder for them to know who to cover, and that's going to help us moving into those games when they don't have like a set wideout they have to cover.
Yeah.
When they're on the field and they know that any single one of those guys can get the ball and make the play on that given down, that's going to be a lot more difficult. So I think that's a facet we've got to keep up, is just spreading the wealth and letting all of our players make plays.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of moving away from the gridiron. Good luck for the football team on their bye week. Hopefully we can get the foot on the gas on the road going to Utah next week. So moving to the court volleyball. Caleb, what do you think about the Lipscomb game?
Yeah, so as we expected, some good, some bad. We kind of said it last week, you know, Lipscomb's record was awful, but that doesn't reflect who they are as a team. They had a very tough preseason schedule and pre-conference schedule. So, you know, of course, they take out the Colonels, beat them.
On the very last play, too. That was just absolute heartbreaker. So.
Just heartbreaking. But, you know, really close game. I liked the way the Colonels played. It was, let me see. Yes, so it was the second triple-double of the season for Emily Hill. She looked phenomenal, and just having Cooper Abney is really just helping spread our offense and defense out. You know, Emily being able to slide back and play defense, having Abney at the front as the secondary setter is helping a lot. I like what I saw from Sarah Mitchell. She's looked great all season with another 16 kills, 11 digs. With her a billionth double-double, it feels like.
A billionth, yeah. We talk about the double-doubles as well, so.
Right. But, like, Paige Wagers told me, like, going into that game that it was going to be physical and played at the net, and it was physical and played at the net. Like,
and AJ Vandergriff also went off. I think she had, like, a double-digit kill game. I know when I talked to head coach Bizzani last week, she wanted AG to improve on her offense, and she does that against one of the better teams in the ASUN conference. They played, like, Lipscomb played like 7 teams in the top 25 overall at the top level of volleyball. So
the thing I think we needed to do more of in that game was just block shots. We only had, we had 16 assisted blocks, but the solo blocks we only had 3. So just to see those numbers go up maybe a little bit more. Wagers had 3 solos, 5 total. But yeah, just seeing the block numbers go up a little bit more. I think that would help against a team like Lipscomb. But overall, as far as the season goes, like, I'm still not worried. I still think the Colonels really can go out and beat any team on any given day. There's just still some things they're working out. But for that being their first showing in conference play and them playing against the top team in our conference and only losing on the last point, I feel pretty good about it. And I think they can then not even turn that around, but just beat them in the future.
Yeah. Someone told me after the at the press conference that head coach Bizzani was not happy with the result. Jenna, how do you not kind of beat yourself up about a tough loss? It did come down to the final play, and it looked like Josie had an angle on the ball, but she either it was right in front of her feet, it looked like, from the replay booth. How do you kind of not beat yourself up and stay cohesive as a unit and moving forward to I think it's a 3-game road trip, so...
You have to go in and realize that you're going to make a mistake, and it's learning how to avoid those mistakes, like watching the film and seeing exactly where the mess up was, and then practicing and drilling that mess up to where you aren't going to have it again. Because if you go into a game without researching yourself as an athlete and player, you're not going to you're going to have that mistake again.
Yeah.
So making sure that you just go in and know exactly how to avoid making those mistakes that are happening in your lost games.
Yeah. Have you ever had like a fiery coach after a really like tough performance or anything like that before?
Not recently, not since I came to college.
Mm-hmm.
There was almost not like a fiery, it's just kind of like, we've seen you do that better. That was unacceptable as to you're at a competition right now, and normally it happens at your first competition of the season because it's like getting those preseason jitters out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just have to go in and see exactly where you're messing up so you don't make that mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if it's one group that can come off this tough loss and rebound really well is head coach Pisani and the team that we got this year. So I'll be looking forward to talking about them next week, and hopefully they can win out on this road trip. So, Joey, you've been really quiet this episode, man. Let's move to the esports realm. What's going on over there?
So I don't have I don't have much for EKU because I've been focused on my midterms and stuff that I've had.
Midterm week is rough.
It is indeed. But I did get to watch at least the first game of the Rainbow Six Siege team, and we actually ended up winning that. One of our players ended up getting a 4-kill in that first game, which is great, but he is also known to be one of our better players as well. We did, however, I skimmed through it to see what the outcome was. We lost, sadly. Then again, we are also going up against a lot of better teams than what we were last season.
Yeah, you mentioned Purdue last week, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. So,
like I said last week, we're top 8 now in this conference. So we're going up against all those higher level teams. I believe this week it was Fisher. So that's who they were going up against. And from what I skimmed through, it looked good on our part. Just
hanging in there.
Yeah, drop the ball on a few games. Just a little fun fact. So this isn't right, obviously, but my most played game based on the Xbox app is Rainbow Six Siege with 23 days, 7 hours, and 18 minutes.
Wow.
There's no way that's right. Mine's probably Call of Duty Black Ops 3 with probably well over 40 plus hours, if not in the triple digits.
You gotta hop on the team, man. I'm telling you, do something.
Look, I play zombies, so I don't play competitive like this. But there is currently Rainbow Six Siege, Valorant, and League of Legends World Tournaments going on currently. And the League of Legends one, actually, they have matches today that started at 8 a.m. and are going until 3 p.m.
Wow. How much hours do you think, say like a college level esports player versus like a world level player, how many hours do you think they'd be putting on the game? Like not even hours, probably like days, months.
Yeah, the thing about esports is, unlike actual sports where there's seasons where you may not get to go on the field and everything, this you can do it every day. So even college and professional, everyone's probably practicing every day. It's just the amount of time. The professionals, they have some of these teams have entire houses where they all live together and they all work together.
It's crazy. I couldn't imagine. I read somewhere that like most like top level like esports players like have such like a strict diet.
Yeah.
Like because they don't move. They're like you can't like be jogging and then playing like Rainbow Six Siege on like your phone or something like that. Just the strict diets.
No, I have heard about that too.
And that's insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Moving on from the esports realm, we're moving to the soccer pitch here. A lot better defense than we've been talking about against Vanderbilt and Lipscomb. Also, it just seems to be Lipscomb's are thorn in our side in the
Every sport.
A-Sun realm. We lost 0-7. This is a couple weeks ago against Vanderbilt, and then lost 0-3. We were kind of concerned a couple episodes ago about how they would respond, and they responded well. They played at Austin P 1-0. Played against FGCU, Florida Gulf Coast, in Lexington because of Hurricane Helene,
Right.
2-1, and then beat Stetson 3-2. So it seems to be the defensive side of the ball is playing a lot better. We're getting a lot more shots on goal. We were soaking up a lot of pressure against those top level teams, against Lipscomb and Vanderbilt, and that's just something you can't really do. You got to put pressure on the opposing opponent. They're playing way more scrappy as well, a lot less fouls. and drawing a lot more fouls. And then we had the game of the week last night at Central Arkansas, lost 0-1, but again, a lot better defense this time around. We're 6-1 right now. We're kind of middle of the pack in the conferences where we want to be at this time of year. So any thoughts about the soccer team at all, Caleb?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just want to, I mean, it's kind of a given, but like just continue to win conference games. You know, I don't know that this team necessarily has like championship aspirations, but I think you can absolutely like continue this season out and play well throughout the rest of the season, and just see like what you have to work with for next year, and just really set a lot of like just good like team building and goals throughout the rest of the season. They absolutely can still place pretty high in the conference. They've got enough games left. So yeah, I think it's just like finding what you want to be successful at, and just being realistic and not necessarily like shooting for the moon.
Yeah. Jenna, one more kind of thought here about soccer. Is there any like, what kind of mentality do you have when you're like, okay, like I have a good team, but it's just not championship level? How do you kind of balance out like, hey, we still want to fight, but it just may not work out this year? How do you kind of balance that out?
We always go in with the mentality that we are the best, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a lot of sports teams do that just so that your confidence is built, even though you may know like deep down inside there's a lot of teams that are better than us. We went into our nationals last year going in as the second place team, but the first place team was moved to Division 1A. So we went in with the mentality that we're supposed to be the best right now. But there was another team that was added to our division that we knew had a lot of great talent. And we knew that what we needed to do was to put that aside and focus on us. So going in and being like, this is something we want, this is something we have worked all year for, so we're going to give it our best shot, even though we do know that there are teams who have a larger number and a larger level of talent than us.
Yeah.
So going in, not counting yourself out, because that's just going to take your confidence level down.
Yeah, and I think also just keep the high confidence up. We've seen that they can win these tough games. I mean, beating FGCU was a huge win as well. But I think if you keep that same mentality every week and knowing that, hey, we want to fight for a championship, and the record may not show it, but I definitely have confidence in soccer and their staff that they can compete for the ASUN championship, and hopefully keep that same mentality throughout the year, even though the record may not show it. But I definitely have confidence in the soccer team 110%. So moving on to the question of the day, kind of related to last week, kind of athlete style of question. If you had to meet one athlete and spend the day with them and get as much advice as possible, what athlete do you think that would be? And what would you want to kind of spend the time with here?
Right. That's a tough question. I feel like there's a lot of ways to go with that. One athlete and spend the day with. I feel like I would have to go with someone that's like, yeah, like you're good and play at the professional level, but is also just like really like fun to be around.
Yeah, down to earth.
So I'm gonna go with Jameis Winston. I feel like it would have to be Jameis
Winston's a good pool.
He's so funny. New Orleans Saints quarterback. Yeah. You know, has done it at a high level, but also is just so funny. And I want to know where in the world he comes up with his quotes.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Eating the W would be a good one.
I want to know where eating the W came
Yeah.
from. So, yeah, Jameis Winston.
Joe, any esports athlete or general athlete you'd want to spend the day with?
So for esports, I'd have to go with Canyon. He is the jungler, so which is my main role for League of Legends for a professional team.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. I'm going to have to go with Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, my God.
No.
I don't know. Okay. Because you were
Blazing on the
talking.
podcast is crazy.
You were talking about someone who is like fun to be around, but also like a really good athlete.
Fun to be
Okay,
around.
no.
Patrick
Hear me
Mahomes.
out. Hear me out.
If you hang out with Patrick, you're going to get Brittany. That's
Okay.
no fun.
And then you're going to get
Honestly.
Travis, and you're going to get that.
No. Okay, listen. Do you like watch their TikToks?
No.
No.
Okay, well, you need to go follow the Chiefs on the TikTok.
How about no?
I'm
Did
happy
they do
with
like
my
dancing
life
in
right
the
now.
after?
Okay, it has nothing to do with Taylor Swift. I promise.
Do they dance with the refs in the locker room too? Probably.
Yeah, I know.
It's hilarious.
Is it him just paying the refs on TikTok?
It's like if you were to watch like the Savannah Bananas, but football version is the Chiefs, is what I think of it as.
Oh God.
I knew I was
No.
gonna get hate for it, but
Yeah.
my bad, my bad.
Yeah. Well, everyone, enjoy Jenna's last episode.
Yeah, she will not be back next week. For me, I guess. I don't know. TJ McConnell is a good
TJ
one. TJ
McConnell.
McConnell's a good
What a
one.
pull.
What a pull.
The
yeah.
drill sergeant himself.
Yeah, I love TJ McConnell's
What a
energy
pull.
in the playoffs.
He was
Last year
insane.
Was crazy.
He was
yeah.
insane in the
Especially when
playoffs.
Tyrese went down.
Yeah.
In the
As
Eastern
a
Conference
Knicks
Finals.
fan, I know.
Oh,
he
God.
went insane.
Boo. We got
Yeah.
Aaron back there sitting. He's a Celtics fan. Oh man. But I have to go with TJ McConnell. He just seems down to earth and just high energy level.
Yeah, for sure.
24/7.
Very good player too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just extended him, so hopefully he can keep it up
Absolutely.
next year. So,
Yeah.
Any last minute thoughts? Anybody at all before we're heading out on this episode? Anything at all?
I think that's it.
Not
That's
really.
it. Perfect.
Well, guys, it was nice knowing you.
Yeah, so she's gonna watch some Chiefs TikToks after this. So.
I am.
All right, we will see you guys next week, and we'll have the preview since EKU back on the gridiron. So thank you guys so much.
See you guys.
See you.